to chat to you again. We haven't touched base in a long time. And yeah, let's start off with saying you're still looking fabulous after your Slender Wonder journey. Just to give an introduction to everyone watching, Roman is a dentist. He's 30 years old and he's based in Salt Rock. And he started his Slender Wonder journey quite some time ago. And we're going to dive right in. But yes, thank you, Roman, for your time today.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure doing helping you guys and sharing the story. I think it's important too, since a lot of people could do with it, and it helps a lot of people.
Thank you so much. So just to start off with, why did you decide to make the lifestyle change? What was the final straw that you said, this is enough, I need to do this?
Oh, well, there was a lot of things at that point that, flooded me at once. The main thing was that I didn't feel good. I didn't feel well physically. The biggest one was physical. It was also mental. There was a lot of fog and confusion. And it was in February 2008. And I just didn't feel well. My body was telling me it's had enough. And I kind of tried to translate what I was feeling into words. And then I realized that, it was years previously of doing things that I shouldn't have in terms of eating the wrong foods, not being active enough. And then I said, you know what, it's about time. And I made an appointment with my GP to have that check.
Yes, I think a lot of the time when your body isn't well, and you've got that brain fog, it can also be connected to certain type of depression where you just don't feel like you don't feel yourself, and to make that change is very important. So without naming the diets, how many diets did you try prior to Slender Wonder, or was this your first go-to plan of action?
I have tried methods, I wouldn't call them diets, because I have never done a diet administered by a doctor or some plan where you sign up somewhere to do something. Mm-hmm. I've used over-the-counter products, but no longer than 3 days, I would say, because they didn't make me feel good. It was always like high caffeine, and it came with very strict instructions what you have to do. But yeah, Slender Wonder was my first proper diet, and I haven't done anything after this as well. Haven't tried anything. There's no need.
Okay, great. And then, do you think the reason why you didn't, using the word fail, but do you think the reason why you could actually reach goal weight was due to the program and actually seeing a doctor? Or was it just the way that the program was set out that it made sense to you?
The second part, well, it was both of those things. It was the fact that you were seeing a doctor, and I was confident that it was safe because you are being monitored and checked. And then the other thing is that it was intriguing for me because at my first appointment, you have a little chat with your doctor and they tell you all of these things, and I'm a person that likes to ask questions. And at that point I said, let me not question for the first time, and let me just do. So I'm gonna put my head down and just go forward. And then it was nice to kind of figure it out on the way. And I kind of realized that that's what Slender Wonder does. It gives you the tools, and you've got to figure it out and make it work for you. So yeah, that was what I liked about it.
Awesome. So we didn't really start off with your success. So quickly, just tell us, how much weight did you lose in what period? And you broke up a bit earlier. You started in 2018. That's when you started your journey. So how much weight did you lose in total?
Yeah, I started in 2018. My goal weight, I started off Slender Wonder at 111 kgs. I reached my goal weight of 80 kgs, 16 weeks. But then I was too excited about losing weight. I dropped another, the total loss was 40 kgs. So I was underweight, 40 kgs. in that same year, then I was underweight. I was still happy then, but then, there's repercussions that come with that. So I slowly started to change my training methods to, gain some muscle mass, which worked well. And then, so my weight started to go up, but there wasn't any, it was muscle mass. And that was scary at first, but I had to learn to adjust. And it was a good adjustment, and I still stick with that. The weight loss, well, now I'm still at above my goal weight, but the fat percentage is still low. It's not putting me in the red zone or the orange zone or whatever. So it's good. I'm happy with that. And I'm still maintaining my weight 4 years later. BMI and everything.
Fabulous. That's fabulous. I mean, at the end of the day, as much as we want to look good, it's important to have that low body fat percentage so that your visceral fat is low, so we don't attack the organs, and you can just live a healthier life. So it's absolutely a lifestyle change, and it seems like you've just adapted to it, and it's amazing 4 years later. Tell us, how did you overcome emotions of feeling like you wanted to give up at times? How did you overcome them, or what did you do when you went through those periods?
Well, those are plenty, I'll tell you. From preparing your foods, where you were to go, people you're going to meet. There's a lot of things that can hinder your progress. But what I used to do was plan. And I didn't know much about planning when it comes to diet, but with the Slender Wonder manual, there's some hints and tips in there to help you plan better, so that you succeed. Like, chewing your food slowly and taking time, things like that. So I applied those rules to everything that I did. So I would take time out to plan my meals. I didn't spend a lot of time preparing them because they were easy to prepare. I had a set list of foods that I was going to eat, and I didn't spend a lot of time preparing it. I spent a lot of time thinking about places I would have to go to, who I would see there, and situations that I'd probably be in where I would be likely to, cheat or go off the track. And then I prepared myself for those encounters and what I was going to say and what I would do if I would even go to a family gathering or a party or whatever. The other big thing for me was that, in moments where you feel like, at the end of the day, you're so tired sometimes, giving up, then I would just pray. It's a simple thing, and just do that. And kind of, it's like, for me, it was like, I would rededicate that whole process to the big man, and that helped me. That's, bottom line is it helped me, and I did that. Yeah, and that was basically it.
I mean, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, we're social beings, right? And there's always going to be social gatherings. There's always going to be times when we go to restaurants. And I think the important thing is, like you say, prepare yourself. Read the menu online. Get in your mind what you're going to order, so you don't even have to look at the menu when you sit down. So there's no temptation. And like I say, whether you pray in those moments, whether you start reading a book, or I think in those moments when you feel like, okay, I've had enough, you just need to keep busy, keep your mind going again, just to kind of steer off that path of feeling, that you are tired of this now. And then tell us, so the day you stood on the scale and you reached your first goal weight that you set out, what was that moment like? What did you feel like when you saw that number that you wanted to reach?
So before that final weigh-in, at that point I could kind of tell if I've lost or if I haven't lost before my appointment. So I knew before that appointment I lost a few kgs, but at that point, because I was so focused on seeing a difference on the scale, and I wanted it to be over. Not that it was, I was like wanted to reach the goal. So I went onto the scale, and I never looked at the scale at any of my appointments. I would always tell them if there's a decrease in my weight, tell me about it, but don't tell me what the amount is. But I would never look at the scale. So that final when they, the lady just looked up at me and she smiled, and then I knew it was a lot of relief. I was extremely happy because it was a very early appointment that day. It's about 7 a.m. So I woke up for a good reason. But it was a lot of relief because it was months of hard work, a lot of hard work, a lot of mental work to get to that point. And it's not an easy thing to psych yourself up and stick with your plan for almost 4 months. So I was really happy to then move forward and not just end it there,
That, like, your approach is so fascinating to me because we often see people on Slender Wonder who actually, we always say only weigh at the doctor, don't weigh at home, that type of thing, and people that constantly weigh themselves because they need to see that the number going down. So your whole way of doing this is so interesting. It actually gave me goosebumps when you said the lady just smiled and you both knew without saying much that it's there. It's just, oh wow, it's so proud of you. So talking about the reaching your goal weight, I think in hindsight, when you're done with a program, when you've worked hard, like you've worked hard now for 4 months, and you see that, okay, cool, I've reached my goal weight. A lot of people find it difficult to maintain and keep the weight off and, stay motivated. And at the end of the day, Slender Wonder is a weight loss program, but it's also a lifestyle change. And that sometimes is a difficult part for people to maintain. So tell us more about how you generally kept the weight off. How did you change your lifestyle going forward once you've reached your goal?
So I've kept the weight off for about 4 years now. What really helped me to maintain that and keep it that way is sticking with those guidelines and rules, which are really not rules of it's slender. It comes to you in the form of Slender Wonder, but it's really rules for life that have stuck with me. And planning and preparation it's two simple words, but with life it gets so busy sometimes, and we're constantly wanting to just go and do things, and we forget the little details. So thinking about things and planning is always important to me. The way I approach my relationship with food has changed. There's a lot of foods that I do not eat anymore because they just don't agree with me. They don't do well with my body. And, that's one of the things. The other thing is that I have adopted a certain way of eating and a certain way of keeping fit. I have to keep moving constantly. I can never sit still. I would never do well in an office job. So those are the things. I try to plan meals as much as I can. I like to do the weekend, not a cheat. A cheat. I would call it a cheat, actually. A nice braai or something, with family, or prepare something for the family, which is not common for me during the week. But I've learned to say no, which is a big one for me, especially because I find it hard saying no to people sometimes, but I had to learn that. And I do. If I don't want to do something and I know it's not good for me and it will hinder progress or make me go back, then I would say no. And sometimes you have to do that for your own well-being.
As I said, we're social people, and our friends and family always want you to have a good time. And we are generally, we generally think that, food is part of the celebration, but you can also have healthy food as part of any celebration. So that's a complete mindset change that you've done. And I mean, that just speaks to your success, is that you've changed your mindset in order to change your lifestyle. And we see on Instagram that you have become an avid weight trainer and you are so fit.
Yeah, that was just like, something that I started to get an interest in. Before I started Slender Wonder, I always liked the idea of myself. I could see myself in that place where I was moving a lot. I'm not an acrobat or some like gymnast or something, but if I pictured myself in that position, I liked the idea. And at that point, I couldn't do it. So when I started Slender Wonder and I started training at gym, and it felt amazing. It felt really good. And then again, I asked questions with the guy I was training with, my personal trainer. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? What does this exercise do? And he was very good in telling me what it does. But then I said, this is something that's internal. So I did study personal training, and it's something that helps you stay on track. Also, it's good for the mind. It's good for the body. It helps you keep in shape. And yeah, it's something I really enjoy. I don't do it for like personal gain. Like it was just for my own knowledge. I don't train people or anything like that, but it's something I really like. Yeah.
I love how you've taken this whole change to this holistic approach, with diet, mind, exercise. It's amazing to see, where you've come from, where you are now, 4 years later. And let me tell you, Roman, every time we post your before and after photos on any platforms, the people just want to know more. How did he do it? How long did it take? This is incredible. So you've been an inspiration to so many without you even knowing it. And we'd like to thank you for that. And just in closing, Roman, if you could inspire one person today with a message or a piece of advice, what would that be?
I would say, think of all the things that you want to do and you wouldn't do now because you're overweight, because you're shy, because you're insecure. And life is too short to be overweight. I've realized that because it holds you back from a lot of things. And although when you don't, you may not say it, it does. It puts almost a mental block, on a person. So do it for yourself and do it for all the things that you want. Because we all want to live our best lives, and we all want to look good while doing it. So do it for yourself. Nobody else is gonna, you know, cheer you on. You will have people there to support you, but at the end of the day, you've got to do it for yourself, and you've got to be your own supporter. And that was my biggest motivation.
That's amazing. Roman, once again, thank you so much. Thanks for being an inspiration for the thousands of people out there that, like I said, on a daily basis, you're not even aware of. By just making this change and maintaining the lifestyle, you are a true inspiration to many of us in all aspects, whether it's weight loss or if you want to achieve anything. Thank you so, so very much. We appreciate you.
Always a pleasure, Yolandi.
Keep well, and it was awesome chatting to you, and I'm sure we'll catch up soon.
I'm sure. Thanks again.